Hello, welcome to this week's video. We are on our back balcony because the weather is absolutely glorious and I just can't sit inside and do this. So we are going to enjoy the beautiful weather together. Today's topic is all about mother of the groom everything. Mother of the groom responsibilities, mother of the groom dresses, all of the things that are wrapped up in mother of the groom. So last weekend, our youngest son got married, and it was wonderful. It was so fabulous. So, I'm not an expert at all, but I thought I would just show you some things that I did and the timeline of things and the things that I bought to make it better or smoother or all the things, because there might be just one tiny thing to help you if you are ever going to be in the situation of being a mother of the group. So, I hope that's okay. Buckle up, let's get started. All right, let's start with 6 months before the actual wedding. Now, and I know this is going to be different for everybody based on the time of year and the amount of time that you know that you have between the engagement and the wedding, just all of the things. But for us, we knew over a year, it was about a year and a half of an engagement before the wedding. And so 6 months before the wedding, I went to our local med spa and I told him that I had an event coming up in 6 months and I wanted my skin to look as best as it possibly could for the wedding. And so we talked about, it was a free consultation about what the condition that my skin was currently in, the condition that I wanted my skin to be in, and what could we do in the next 6 months to make that happen. Now, your skin may be in a very different condition than my skin was, so we're all different. For me, they recommended microneedling, laser, and facials. So that's what I did. I had 3 microneedling treatments, 3 lasers, and these were done about 6 weeks apart from each other, and Diamond Glow facial. And I had that done like 10 days before the wedding. Oh, and Botox and filler. The filler I actually had done about 5 months before the wedding. Filler lasts about 2 years on me, so that was just one and done, out of the way. The Botox I had refreshed about 2 weeks before the wedding. In case there were any bruising, it wouldn't be there any longer. And so that's what was going to work for me. That's what I opted for, and that was the plan. So, and I'm very glad. It was very good, and I feel like, I'm never trying to look like I'm a 30-something or even a 40-something. I just want to look the best I can at my age. I'm 58, and so this is what I did. All right, so that's the pre kind of facial stuff. So, of course, you're going to want to book the venue, and that's going to be different for everybody as well. We booked through at a restaurant in Baton Rouge that was one of the kids' favorite restaurants, and so I had that booked ahead of time. I knew I had menu selections that I could narrow it down to for everybody. There was a vegetarian option, just things like that. We had a cash bar. So in other words, we weren't paying for alcohol. If you want to, good deal, that's fine. We just wanted, if people wanted the option, they could, have alcohol, but we wanted to provide tea and water and sodas. So that's what we did. And I ordered for the rehearsal dinner this cute little sign, and I'll pop in pictures and I will actually link it below. Everything that I talk about, I'm going to link down below. The sign was so cute. It said the night before, and it had, Ryan and Ashlyn's name on it and all the things. And so it was fun that was like the welcome into the room. So that was fun. And and I had to get an easel for the sign because the restaurant didn't have one. That's okay. So I will link where I got the easel as well. Very inexpensive. I think it was $13. So welcome sign for the rehearsal dinner. And I wanted a little, like, a happy to send people off with when they left. I've seen, or I've been at weddings, I guess I should say, where people will do like the koozies or a magnet or I don't know. And usually those end up getting tossed or not used. And so, uh, anyway, I just wanted to do something that I thought most people would enjoy and that would have a little flavor of Louisiana, since that's where the kids got married, where they lived, almost their entire lives. And so pralines is just, it's if you're not familiar, pralines it looks like about the size of a cookie, and it's sort of like a pecan. Um, it's hard to explain. It's so delicious. It's so wonderful. And so I had individually wrapped pralines, and we just had people on their way out take them, and they loved it. It was great. So I figured they would either eat it and enjoy it, or they'd give it to somebody else and they would get to enjoy it, but it wouldn't get thrown away. I didn't think it would get thrown away. So the rehearsal dinner, there's that. Now, I will say it is my understanding that it is the groom's parents who are to host the rehearsal dinner. So that's what we did. If you are hosting the rehearsal dinner, I would suggest that you go around to each table or each section of tables and introduce yourself. Hi, my name is Michelle. I'm the groom's mom, and my husband and I are so thrilled that you're here. Thank you for coming and celebrating with us. It just means so much. And if you need anything at all, if you have any questions about the menu or anything, please let me know. I'm here to help. Again, thank you for celebrating with us. It's just sort of a way to, first of all, introduce yourself and just make them feel welcome and a part of, and that you are the host, and that if they have a question about anything, they can come to you. And if you don't know the answer, you can find out the answer for them. So that was good. Now, typically it is the groom's father that gives a toast to the couple. My husband is not a public speaker at all and did not want to do that, which is fine. You know what? It's your own party. Like, it was our party. We could do whatever we wanted to do. We make the rules. I mean, you can Google, which is what I did, etiquette for mother of the groom rehearsal dinner, or etiquette for anything like that. And you can find a number of different things, but it's your party and you do it how you want to do it. So, uh, Eric, Ryan's older brother, is the one that ended up giving the toast, and it was brief. It was under 3 minutes, and he, of course, welcomed Ashlyn into the family, and he told a couple little funnies from Ryan's childhood, and that sort of tied it all into his relationship with Ashlyn, which was so good, and it made people laugh. It gave people a little glimpse into our family, and it was good. And it was just a celebratory toast, and it was good. It was good. So I'm glad we did that. And then, okay, so when it was winding down, when we were getting towards the end, Ryan, my son, the one getting married, came over to me and he said, "Mom, can I just say a few words? I mean, is that like appropriate?" I said, "Ryan, this is our party. We do whatever we want. So, yes, it's appropriate." And so he just stood up and he thanked everybody for coming and celebrating with us, and how much it meant to him and Ashlyn. And he just, gave a few words, and it was a great way to tie up the evening, and just and give a big thank you from the bride and the groom. So, like I said, you don't have to do any of this. You can do some of this, but here are just some ideas of the things that we did that I felt really worked. Lastly, before we left to go to fly in, I did have a spray tan and I did have a pedicure. I do my own nails, so I did my nails right before. And that was kind of all the zhuzhing up I could do before the wedding. That was about as good as it was going to get. And so there you have it. Okay, let's talk about rehearsal dinner dress. I did not know what type of dress I wanted. I knew that I wanted one that was just like barely above the knee, or a midi length. Personally, I prefer one that comes right at the top of the knee. That's just what I feel most comfortable in. And ours was in the summer. It was in June, and it was in Louisiana, which is very hot. And so linen was an appropriate fabric for me. for this time of year, and I pulled a bunch of different dresses. I would go and try them on. Well, first I would scan the internet and to stores like Nordstrom, Saks, Neiman's, Bloomingdale's, and Dillard's, just different places, and I would try to find the brands that I liked in like Mother of the Groom dresses and Mother of the Groom rehearsal dinner dresses. So I would kind of have it narrowed down to the brands that I liked. And so for Mother of the Groom rehearsal dinner, I I went and just grabbed a bunch at different stores and tried them on. I ended up going with this dress from Dillard's, and it is their house brand, Antonio Milani. I don't know how you say it, but it's their house brand. It was available in several different colors, maybe 4 different colors. I absolutely loved this pink. The detailing on this dress is just perfection. I love it. First of all, if you know me, you know I love a high neck. I just think it's so elegant. And then the slight poof shoulder, or yeah, sleeve right here. Perfect. And okay, this is what was odd with my dress. It's not a petite. I'm 5'0", and it's not a petite size, but it fit me perfectly. So in the waist, it came in at the waist and exactly where it should be. And then it had the little flare at the bottom, which was just so feminine and girly and pretty. And the length on me came exactly where I wanted it to be. It came to the top of the knee. When you look at the dress on the model, she's probably 5'9" or 5'10", and it's very short on her. And that's how I gauged it. When I was looking at dresses, I saw this one online, and I thought, that is way short on her. Darling dress. I think it would probably fit me perfectly. And it did. So keep that in mind if you're petite and you're, looking for different dresses like that. So I will also link down below my second choice. It was between this one and one other one, and I loved this other one. It just felt like, okay, my second choice, it was this dress by Abby Glass, and it had a tie waist, and I felt like there was just too much material going on around the waist for that one. That's why I opted for the one that I have. Now, because the dress that I chose for the rehearsal dinner is so like a wow, like it's pink, it's detailed, it's got the foof, and it's very a wow dress. I wanted everything else to be simple. I did not want competing jewelry, competing shoes, competing anything with competing with that main thing, which was the dress. So I went with shoes that are the same color of my skin, and they're nude. It's a slingback. It was a low heel. It was very important to me to be comfortable in the shoes. I did not want to be uncomfortable at the rehearsal dinner. So it's a low heel, and it really just blends in with my leg. You barely even notice them. You barely notice my jewelry. Really the standout was the dress, and that's exactly how I wanted it to be. It was getting a little cloudy over there, so I had to shift positions just a little bit. So, all right, let's talk about the wedding day, the wedding mother of the groom dress, and all of those things. All right, so the mother of the groom dress, I started shopping for about 6 months before the wedding, and I had no idea what style I wanted. And so the first thing was to determine what styles I liked, everything. Does it have beads? Is it nighttime wedding, daytime wedding? In the South, is it hot? Is it cold? All the things. So, like I said, ours was in the South in the summer, and it's hot. And so I knew I wanted something either halter, one shoulder, something that wasn't like big and heavy and long sleeves. So I chose this. I love it. It's just beautiful. Now, let me tell you that one of the reasons why I got it early is that, okay, I had to have it altered. It did not come in petites. And when I had it altered, I got it at Nordstrom, and they said, well, when you come to pick it up after it's been altered, do not leave the store until you try it on, because you don't want to have to come all the way back if the alterations are not correct. And they weren't. It was too tight. I could barely zip it. So I had to have it altered a second time. And this takes time. You want to allow yourself plenty of time. Very rarely for a wedding dress or, mother of the groom dress, are you going to be able to take it off the rack and it fit perfectly and you're good to go. It's just, at least for me, I knew that wasn't going to be the case. So had it altered twice, fit perfect, everything was fine. Now let's talk about undergarments with this specific dress. Instead of wearing a strapless bra and being so uncomfortable, I'm small chested, so I can get away with the Nippy Covers, and so that's what I did. So it's really like a sticky bra, like it just sticks on right here, and I was good to go. I didn't need anything else. It was super comfortable, didn't have to be bothered with an uncomfortable strapless bra, and the shoes I got, again, the heel was very important to me that I am comfortable. I wanted to dance. I wanted to enjoy myself. I didn't want to have my feet hurting. So I chose shoes that have a very low heel, and I'm so glad I did because my feet did not hurt. Now, I want to say a couple of things about getting ready for the wedding and then the actual wedding itself and your place as the mother of the groom. My daughter-in-law did invite me to come with the girls and her mom and her grandmother to have their hair and makeup done and all the things, that morning. And that was so kind of her to include me. I um I did not accept that. I said, you know what, thank you anyway, I'm gonna pass. I wanted that to be her time with them, and honestly, I don't really like when other people do my hair. I never like the way that it looks. So I was too scaredy cat to have other people do it and then me hate it and not have time to redo it before the wedding. So I did not opt for that. If you want to, go ahead. I just opted not to. A couple of things I want to say. First of all, before the wedding, find somebody that you know that would take good pictures. I asked my niece, she's 20, and give her your phone and tell her what you want pictures of. I was very specific. I told her where I wanted her to sit in the wedding, and as the bridesmaids and groomsmen were coming down, I told her how many pictures I wanted of each one. I wanted her to capture Ashlyn walking down the aisle. I wanted her to zoom in on this. I mean, she had very specific instructions, and she did beautifully. Beautifully. And I'm so glad I did that because I sure couldn't have been taking pictures, and I wanted to just soak up every moment that I could. It was such a joyous occasion. I didn't want to be fiddling with my phone at all, which brings me to this is another thing. So I ordered this off of Amazon. It's a clip thing that clips into your phone, which allows you to hold the phone on your wrist, kind of like a bracelet. Here's where it would go. And on the during the times when I did want to have my phone with me for the just in case moment, I didn't want to have to be holding it in my hand. So I would just hold it on my wrist like that. And so if something came up, which it did, just all of a sudden, I didn't know when they were going to go cut the wedding cake. And all of a sudden they were over there and I'm like, but I had my phone so I could just whip it out and take pictures, slip it back on my arm, go back to what I was doing. And so that's good. So give somebody your phone, tell them how to take pictures, and have a little thing to hold your phone. I just keep moving all over the place because the sun keeps moving. Sorry if that's a distraction. Okay, so now that you have all of these pictures on your phone, you know that the bride wants to get her hands on these pictures as fast as she can. And the photographer isn't going to have them ready for another week or two. And so what I did, and I would encourage you to do, is to create an album of the pictures on your phone. First of all, that will help you find them quicker. I don't know if you have a lot of pictures on your phone that you have to scroll through. I do. I have thousands of pictures on my phone. And so for me to have to scroll through and find the wedding ones, I didn't want to do that. So I just put them all in one album, and it was called Weekend of the Wedding. And I had the rehearsal dinner, the wedding, all of the things in that one album. And then share the album and if you don't know how to do this, get somebody to show you. Ask one of your kids. Ask somebody. Share the album with the bride and the groom, her mother, And my son Eric, he wanted to be in on the album too, so he could see all the pictures. And so what that does is it allows you to keep them in a special spot. It allows the mother of the groom, I mean the mother of the bride, the bride, everybody to have access to it. Plus, they can add to it the pictures they took. And so then everybody's got all of these wedding pictures. And it's just an easy, quick way to share photos. So, huge win on that one. Okay, one thing that I wanted to mention, if you're wearing a sleeveless or halter or one shoulder dress, that type of thing, this showed up in pictures so good, and I'm so glad I did it. So yes, I did the spray tan, so I looked a little bit tan, but I also took a little bit of highlighter, and I've shown you this before, took a little bit of highlighter, put it on the edge of my shoulders right here to create dimension, and I also put it on my collarbones right here. And when I tell you, and I look at the pictures back, it's like it created the illusion exactly how I wanted it to. So don't forget the highlighter on those spots. You will thank me, I promise you. All right, let's talk about what to have in your purse. First of all, I would say, unless you have a super dainty, fancy watch, take it off. It doesn't look good with your mother of the groom dress. I have an Apple Watch with a pretty band. Nope, I took it off. First of all, it doesn't look good with the dress. Secondly, you don't want to be watching the time. At least I didn't want to be watching the time. I didn't. I wanted to just be so present and so aware, and I didn't want to be bothered with notifications, with what time is it, with just nothing. I just wanted it to be so. I just wanted to be in the moment. I wanted to enjoy every second and not be worrying about anything. So I put my watch in my purse. The other things that I had in my purse were Kleenex, because I cried. I was just happy tears. And lipstick, my readers, in case I needed to read something. What else did I have in there? Mints. I had lots of mints. And I didn't want them to be like, how they'll shake and you can hear them. So I just took like a handful and dropped them in the bottom of my clean purse. And so I had mints whenever I felt like I needed one, or anybody else, either one of my sons or my husband. So they had those at the ready as the wedding as the reception was coming to an end. I knew that I wanted to just enjoy it and not be having to fiddle with my phone. So again, I gave it to somebody I trusted, and I said, "Will you video them coming out and walking to the car, and let me just enjoy this?" And they wanted bubbles, so no rice. We blew bubbles, and I got to enjoy that moment. And I'm telling you what, that was my favorite video. I loved it so much. Ryan and Ashlyn looked so happy and just at peace and fun and beautiful, and I got to soak all that in. I didn't have to worry about filming it, and I get to go back and watch it over and over and over again. So glad I did that. I'm sure that there are things that I forgot, but that's pretty much basically it. I just wanted to share that with you. If you have any questions at all, please feel free to ask. Again, not the expert. I'm just telling you what worked for us. So it was a fabulous day, a wonderful day, one that will just be remembered forever in our family. So all right, girlfriend, have a good rest of your day. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in a few days on YouTube. Bye.